Everybody, welcome back. My name is Steven. I live on the east side of Madison in an all-electric house that I did myself. My house is from 1957. I have a cold climate heat pump, and we're rocking and rolling and never going back. Also have an EV and putting up solar on my house as we speak. In the last video, I talked about the importance of air sealing as the second thing you should do in your electrification journey, and how you want to do that before you put in any insulation. You should never insulate before you air seal. Take that to the bank, okay? Now, you're probably going to pay someone to get some of this air sealing work done. And sometimes when you work with a contractor, you maybe got a referral, so you're trusting your friend, or they seem like a good person, or they gave you a firm handshake or whatever, or maybe they have a nice letterhead. How do you know that the person you hired is going to do a bang up job? Oh geez, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, does it feel nicer in here? Yeah, it feels. Oh geez, it really kind of feels a little bit nice in here. That's completely subjective. Like, nobody knows. All right. So what I do for my house, and what you could do for your house, is you test. You test the air tightness of the house before you get the work done, and then you test the air tightness of the house after you get the work done. And the test that you want to do is called a blower door test. Okay? A blower door test, also called the whole house air tightness test. So this metric tells you how good of a job the air sealers did on your house. And that blower door number is important because it can hold them accountable. And that air tightness number is very useful and critical if you're ever going to move toward a cold climate heat pump, because you need to do what's called a load calculation. More on that later, but just you want to get a blower door test done, ideally before and after the air sealing work, because that data is an important point to use in future sizing of equipment. I will also link in the description of this video the areas that you want to focus on for air sealing up in your attic. It's something that you could do yourself, and it's certainly something that I did myself. I spent about 80 hours doing it, but then again, I have no life. So, second thing that I want to say here is, I said before that houses cannot be too airtight. You can take that to the bank. That will be true forever, okay? However, once we have an airtight house, or a more airtight house, code for Wisconsin is 7 air changes per hour. Most of the country is at 5 air changes per hour. Passive house is 0.6 air changes per hour. My house right here where I'm living on the east side of Madison is 1.2 or 1.3 air changes per hour, okay? And I did it myself. So a newbie who's never done this before made his house 1.2 air changes per hour, okay? So you could do this yourself if you really want to, or pay to have someone take care of it. But once the house gets to a certain tightness, you want to bring in fresh air for the health and safety of the occupants. So picture dominoes toppling over one after the other, after the other, after the other. A more tight house has consequences for other systems in your house, okay? And one of those consequences is there's going to be less air coming into the house for the health and safety of the occupants. So you're going to want to install and buy a fresh air ventilation solution. I will put 2 videos in the description of this video about what I did and how I came to that. In short, your options are supply-only ventilation, exhaust-only ventilation, or balanced ventilation. Maybe it goes without saying, balanced ventilation is the best option, and here in Madison, you want to buy either an ERV, it stands for Energy Recovery Ventilator, or you could buy a ventilating dehumidifier. Either of those 2 options. I have an ERV, and mine supplies between 20 and 40 CFM to my house. So, research up on those things and make your decision. But tight houses need mechanical ventilation. The last thing I'll say about this is, how do you know how much fresh air your house needs? I will link a video in the description of this video where I walk through how to do that. In short, it's just a math problem. And if you have your blower door number, which I told you should get after you air seal your house, that is a key part in figuring out the exact number of cubic feet per minute CFM you need per code to ventilate your house. Now, do you need to abide by this number? No, of course you don't. But at least it provides a rough benchmark or a starting place from which you can move up or down, ventilate more or less depending on your preferences, okay? So those are a couple additional comments about air sealing. Now we'll move on to the next section in this journey of electrifying our homes in Madison, Wisconsin.